You had plenty of money in 1922. You let other women make a fool of you. Why don't you do right?
Meet Rich and Rose, a Sarasota, Florida musical duo that features the guitar work of Charley Rich with the captivating vocals of Daenah Rose. For over 4 years, this duo has been charming audiences with their blend of American Songbook classics, jazz favorites, pop, and Charley's original compositions. They recently performed in the WUSF studio where we briefly spoke afterward. Since our meet, I've been thinking about how music builds communities and serves as a universal language that connects people on this profound and intangible level. You'll hear more about how during COVID they were able to continue building their community through music. I really enjoyed their visit and our conversation, so here's Rich and Rose.
We are Rich and Rose, and my name is Daenah Rose, and this is Charley Rich. Oops, I guess I should have handed it.
I'm still Charley Rich, the very much live one, and I play guitar.
I do vocals.
And we're really happy to be here today. Our friend Jerry Billick was the one who connected us with WUSF, so we're really grateful for that.
Thank you, Charley and Daenah, for coming in today. How did you all meet?
We were actually in our community in Sarasota, and we were performing during COVID, and we were playing almost once a week with another group who did pretty much 70s light rock. And at the last performance, they basically were saying goodbye to each other. We'll see you in October. We'll be back in January. And I'm thinking, where are all my musician friends leaving for? And luckily, Charley was still there. So we decided to get together and start playing, and we've been playing together ever since.
What do you want audiences to take away from your music when they listen to you perform?
Well, I guess it's a combination. You want to reach their heart. You want to touch people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We try to have dynamics in our music, getting louder and softer, sometimes, slower, to try to reach people. No particular message other than that you hear us and you feel it. And I think that's, in the numbers that are up-tempo, I always watch the audience's feet. Because if we're doing that right, then the feet move. It's funny. I teach a course on jazz at Suncoast, and that was one of the things I do to watching the students. I'll play music from different areas, and then I'll look, and I'll see who's really getting into it or who's thinking about their email.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little more emotionally based. Charley's kind of mentally based, and I'm emotionally based. So sometimes when I'm singing, if the words get to me like they got to me in that song, it's just like my throat just goes, uh-oh.
Then we'll see trees of green, red roses too, uh-oh. We'll see them bloom for me and you, and we'll think to ourselves, what a wonderful world. Oh, no.
And a lot of times when I see people resonating with that makes it very special for me. So I never noticed the toes before. I will pay attention to that in the future.
How do you know what songs to play?
Oh, I think that's an easy question. We pick the songs we like, and we try not to second guess what the crowd likes. We've all played in pop bands and rock bands where, that's more of what you do. We pick songs that we like. So I'll find one or Daenah will find one, and we both listen to it, maybe listen to different performances, and we go, gosh, do we like that? Number one. And then number two, how would we do it? Because we try to come up with our own arrangements of everything and not copy someone. So it's mostly pleasing us.
I can also add to that I've had some sheet music that I've brought in for Charley. I've sung with other groups before, but this is the only duet I've ever done. So I had some sheet music. It was so old it was yellow, and I think it cost $1.25. So you know how old it is. And I said, Charley, do you think you could play this? Of course, he just sits there and does his whole And he's the only musician I've ever played with that could play these jazz songs that I wanted to do. So that's been a gift. Yeah.
What's your process for learning new songs?
Well, the process probably varies on every song. Usually the first thing is find a key, find the right key. So sometimes we'll find the key for the vocals, and I might want to modify that because a certain key might work better on a guitar. It's funny, if any of you are instrumentalists, horn players love flat keys, string players love sharp keys. So, we'll do that. And then we think about, well, is there a need for a solo or not? What the introduction should be? And then we just sort of elaborate. Like by playing it over and over, it keeps changing. We don't really lock into the arrangement the first time. It's sort of a evolutionary thing. And then we stop when we like it. And then if we perform the song again, we end up changing it too. It never becomes, I think, completely frozen.
I think a lot of the songs that Charlie brought was the Jobim songs, and he'd say, "Do you know Jobim meditation?" I said, "I've never heard of that." He starts playing it. I go, "Oh yeah, I know that one." So I wasn't familiar with the artist, or I didn't know the name of the song, but as soon as he starts playing it, but then when I start to try to sing it, I'd had no idea how many key changes were in those songs until I started to sing. And I said, "Oh, I think we need to do that again." So Charlie's been very patient with that. And we actually love our practices as much as we do our performances. It's just there's just such joy, and it's just we connect really easily. So
Yeah, I second that. Practice is almost as much fun as performing.
Where do you usually perform in Sarasota?
Well, we both live in a community called Pelican Cove. And interestingly enough, it's a very art and music community. It's very unusual in that regard. So they have a number of concert halls, and we've been performing within our community. And it's great because we're not really doing it for money. We're doing it for the joy of music and for providing, something for our residents, especially during the COVID era
That's interesting.
when they couldn't go anywhere or do anything. We did as much music as we could.
I live there too.
What's been your experience since the pandemic to continue and support the arts and music within your community?
Reception to us has been really, really positive. We played in one of the smaller halls and then in the larger hall, and we pretty much have filled the room just by putting up some posters and word of mouth and an email. But it's funny, no matter how much we play, people are always asking for more. I'm out walking my dog, and someone comes up to me. I didn't even remember their name, and they go, "What, is your guitar broken?" That was what they got used to wanting it all the time. We have something called Pelican Cove University, so I taught a music course. Other people like Jerry Billig, who Daenah mentioned, have taught courses there. So people are always interested, in it. We haven't really had to work hard, to build anything up.
And there are a lot of different groups that we can play with too. So Charlie and I play together, and we've got other groups that, like I said, play the 70s music, and then there's a jazz band. So there's a lot to be involved with.
I'll also add, I also have been playing weekly recently at the senior center in Sarasota, but not with Daenah, with just a band of musicians there, playing similar kinds of tunes on Fridays at 1 o'clock, I think it's been. If you're a fan of the senior center, it's a pretty cool place. It's afternoon, right?
Yes.
Me too.
I gotta say, I love afternoon concerts. I know I might be in the minority here, but night concerts are getting so hard to cover these days. Concert starts at like 8. The main guy doesn't, the headliner doesn't go on until like 9, and so I'm advocating for afternoon concerts. I love an afternoon concert. I love being able to get home by like 7 p.m. It's fantastic.
I've done so many years of those as well. Plus, in younger life, playing, when I played gigs and it was, like 9 to midnight or whatever, and you stay up all night because you're so wired. It's great in retirement to not be doing that. And play in the afternoon or early evening has been a real joy.
Sunday morning.
Oh, yeah, Sunday morning. I like the idea of brunch concerts.
We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this and all the quality content we offer through WUSF. We need your help, though. Like everything in an overcapitalized society, things cost money to operate, like creating all of the awesome videos and podcasts you see here. Now, I could break out the puppies and play to Sarah McLachlan and you break down and hit donate, but I think we're bigger people here. So, if you're able and willing, please donate your dollars today by visiting wusf.org/donate to get started. Anything helps, and your money goes toward producing all of this content, supporting our community, and a whole lot more. And if enough people do this, maybe these annoying ads will go away. Puppies! Donate today. What advice would you give to a musician just starting out?
Don't be afraid. Play with everyone, sing with everyone, do everything you can to be involved. Musicians are wonderful people, and they're just very inviting and gracious. So play with everyone.
Certainly everything Daenah said. Learn as much as you can. Try to play with musicians who are better than you, if you can. It's emotionally challenging, but it's the most enriching way, to do things. It's funny. It's like a lifetime of learning, because you always can get better and better. But I would say also at this point, play what moves you. Music is for enjoyment, and your first audience is yourself. And I think the rest of the audience will know if it's something you believe in and you love.
Do you have a website? Someplace where people can find you?
Yes, we have a YouTube channel. I don't want to recite the URL of random letters, but we can pass that to you. Yes, we have that. And on there we have videos that we've done in my condo unit with just a stationary, stationary phone. Yeah, nothing like this. A phone on a stand and a mic, but we have done some videos.
I gotta say, I love the guitar you're playing. Can you tell me more about your guitars?
It's I rewarded myself in retirement, and I had, a couple of custom guitars. That one's a Steve Anderson guitar. It's a luthier in Seattle, recently retired, who handmade it. And it's spruce and maple. If you
And a white and the back side of his guitar he loves as much as
the front side, I love it. Yeah, this is an archtop guitar, so it's different than if you're familiar with the guitars you see in folk music or country music. The top is arched and bellowed like a cello. It's something they've used in jazz for many years, and it has a different sound, both acoustic and electrically. I also rewarded myself with one other. My wife is so wonderful. She lets me do this. I have another guitar, a Tim Bram archtop, that's in a more of an autumn sunburst color that I have. Those are my two guitars.
You had plenty of money in 1922. You let other women make a fool of you. Why don't you do right?
I wish I could play, but I could play noise, basically. But
Well, it's a wonderful thing to do, whether you perform or you're professional or not. It's good for your fingers, mind, and everything else to do. And what could be better than making music?
the sounds that you can produce from the instrument, that's a magical feeling. And you play so well. Are there any techniques or anything that you've been doing to enhance your guitar playing?
Well, it's like a whole lifetime of doing it, so I don't think it was anything particularly different. My hands are small, in fact, and it's not an issue because they're so flexible, but a lot of practice I did. I initially went to school for music and then went back for computer science.
How did you get into music?
Oh, yeah. So I was a young boy, and we were at a friend's house with my parents, and he played some surf song on his guitar and then something by the Beach Boys. And I was like, wow, you could do that. I think I was about 12 and a half, and he was showing me something by the Ventures or something like that. And when I hit 13, I took $25, had my father drive me to Sears and bought this piece of wood. I can't describe it as a great guitar, but it was something. And, took some lessons. Actually, I was mucked around myself, and PBS, who I've been a lifelong fan of, had a woman teaching folk guitar on. It was Channel 13 in New York. I don't remember the call station. So I went through that little 10-week learning folk songs, and then on and off took lessons, and played in bands. That first guitar, though, did not last long.
For you, Daenah, what's different as a vocalist between singing rock and singing jazz?
It feels as though the light rock, people are expecting to hear what they heard on the album, when they bought the album. And with jazz, I think people are expecting more out of the box singing, phrasing, and at least that's in my experience of it.
More innovation.
Yeah, innovation. That's a perfect word. Yeah.
Well, thank you all for coming in today. This has been a pleasure to see and watch you all perform. Well, thank you both for coming in today. It's been a pleasure watching you both perform, and this has been a great conversation.
I just want to thank this audience for being here. The radio can't see you, but
You're
it was so nice to have all of you here. It means a lot when you're singing and playing. Yeah. But for your radio audience, we're happy that you're here, Warren. And this group is really wonderful to bring the music to all the people and entertainment and news and everything.
Well, I'm really glad, WUSF supports jazz and classical music. These are two wonderful types of music that you just don't hear without working to do it, as opposed to pop music, which is everywhere. And pop music, could be great. We do some Beatles songs in our repertoire, but our way. But for WUSF to support classical and jazz, I think is just great. It needs support. So thank you to you.
Of something in the air, accustomed to his love.
You can learn more about Charley Rich and Daenah Rose by visiting charleyrich.com. Be sure to watch their studio sessions performance by going to wusfjazz.org or searching WUSF on YouTube. Today's audio was recorded in the WUSF Performance Studio by Jackson Harpe. Production assistance by Chandler Balkcom. I'm Warren Buchholz, host and editor. Arts Access Florida is a product of WUSF and is sponsored by Community Foundation Tampa Bay, the Gobia Foundation, with support from the Palladium, and by you. Thank you for your support. Learn more about jazz on Arts Access Florida by visiting our website at WUSFjazz.org. Copyright 2025 WUSF.